and you can fight with Empoleon to get good. What is going on, everybody? Zyonik here, and in today's video we're going to be deep diving into Empoleon versus the Fusion Cup meta, talk about some unique matchups and unique movesets that could flip some matches in the Fusion Cup meta. Now, Empoleon is going to be the new Community Day Pokemon coming out on January 19th, 2020. So I suspect that a lot of players will be picking up an Empoleon for their team because of the great coverages he has. On top of that, a lot of players may not be ready for what it can handle and what it can beat. So by bringing it to that first tournament on right after Community Day, you could dominate your local tournament, or you definitely need to be prepared to counter him. Some of the big counters out there aren't prominently used right now in the meta, but they will definitely rise when Empoleon drops. So if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the latest Pokemon Go PvP content. Without further ado, let's talk about Empoleon versus the Fusion Cup meta. Alright, so taking a look at Empoleon versus the Fusion Cup meta. Now, this is the condensed meta. This obviously isn't all the Pokemon that are available, so take this with a grain of salt, but I think this is going to be the most common Pokemon that you guys are going to see in your Fusion Cup tournaments. So a couple things that I want you guys to note. Firstly, Waterfall, Hydro Cannon, Blizzard is the recommended moveset, but there's some niche coverage that we'll get into here soon if you go with Flash Cannon over Blizzard. But basically, Empoleon is going to be dominating those Steel, the Neutral Flyer with Noctowl, those Fire-type Pokemon. Hydro Cannon's going to hit incredibly hard, but he's also going to be losing to Pokemon that can resist that Hydro Cannon. So like Poliwrath, for example, with that Dynamic Punch and Mud Shot, is going to be doing a ton of work to Empoleon. Venusaur as well, able to get to Frenzy Plant very quickly, will destroy Empoleon. Heracross with that counter damage, Whiscash with that Mud Bomb damage, and then we have Escavalier with the counter, Lantern as well, Thunderbolt. And then Probopass is actually very interesting. I think with the meta shift we are going to see, Probopass will transition from more of a rock based counter, so the Rock Throw, Rock Slide, Thunderbolt, into a Spark Thunderbolt variant because of Empoleon. And then Altaria as well because of resisting that Hydro Cannon, and Waterfall just won't provide enough high EPT to get to Blizzard in time in that fresh kind of fight in the one shield scenario. Taking a look here on PvPoke, this is what I mean by Empoleon. It's going to be beat by Probopass with that Spark Thunderbolt. So if we were running Waterfall, Hydro Cannon, Spark, and Thunderbolt, no shield baiting at all, we're just going to go pure Thunderbolts, Probopass is going to win that one shield scenario because Thunderbolt is going to be doing 82 damage, which is quite a bit of Empoleon's health. Now, Empoleon can win the 0 and the 2. If you want to, you can invest 2 shields and really farm down that Probopass. But in that one shield situation, you're going to have to watch out for Thunderbolt, which is why I think that's where the meta shift is going to happen, is for Spark Thunderbolt because of the rise of Empoleon and Poliwrath. Also here we have some CMP ties, and I think the biggest one that you guys are going to face is going to be Shiftry, and what happens is actually really amazing. So again, heading over to pvpoke.com, we have Empoleon versus Shiftry, no max or min IVs here, just the generic setup. Waterfall, Hydro Cannon, Blizzard is what we're running, Snarl, Leaf Blade, Foul Play. And this is really interesting, guys, so watch what happens. Empoleon can win, but Shiftry has the Leaf Blade right here at the end, right? So you go for double Hydro Cannon, and this only works because of the time it takes for the energy to be received from Snarl. You have a split-second window to hit Hydro Cannon.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Cannon, right? 40 energy, so you could build up to 80, so 10 waterfalls, and then go a back-to-back. But let's say you don't build up to 10, maybe you just go Hydro Cannon when you're supposed to. It's going to become a CMP tie because you have to pull in that extra waterfall, which gives the Snarl time to click on Leaf Blade. So that's actually really interesting to note. The only way to pull this off is to go for back-to-back in between the cycle of Snarl because it is such a longer cycle. So how you approach this shift tree, whether you just go for Hydro Cannon right away or you go for the back-to-back, will determine whether it's going to be a CMP tie, which in this case, if we see CMP be implemented into the game before this month is up, Shift Tree is going to win that CMP tie because it has a higher attack stat. Remember, that update still isn't in the game yet. But if you go for back-to-back, in the case where Blizzard right here, you're gonna edge ahead by like a split second to go for 2 Hydro Cannons on the Shift Tree and win out. Now, if Shift Tree goes for 2 shields and decides to shield that second Hydro Cannon, you're still going to lose there. So that is just something to note. Another thing I want you guys to note is the moveset itself. So Waterfall Hydro Cannon is really what we want to go for, but Blizzard can be changed to Flash Cannon for one reason. And watch what happens when you change it. Boom. What did you guys just pick up? You pick up Altaria in a fresh fight in the 1 shield situation. So let's go ahead and head over to PvPoke and see why. Alright, so taking a look at the rankings here, we have Empoleon with Hydro Cannon Blizzard Waterfall versus the Fusion Cup meta, the condensed meta. And we're going to see that Altaria here really beats us pretty hard, and that's because we're not going to be able to get to a Blizzard in time by the time we go down. It's just way too much energy, and they can safely shield, and Hydro Cannon's not going to be doing enough damage, so we're going to be losing the 1 and the 2 shield situation. Now, we can win the 0 by just going for a straight Blizzard, which is awesome, but what happens in this situation if we change it to Flash Cannon? Well, we flip that 1. Now we lose the 0 and the 2, but we can flip the 1 with a successful shield bait. Or on the other side, land a Flash Cannon first and then go for Hydro Cannon. But it's just something interesting to note that you can flip this match because of Flash Cannon doing 72 damage for 10 less energy than Blizzard. How does this affect the overall meta? Well, it's a big give or take, right? You pick up this unique situation where you can beat Altaria in that 1 shield situation with Flash Cannon on a fresh fight. But if you're going to utilize Empoleon to really farm down some of these bigger Pokemon like maybe a Charizard or a Bronzong, you have now, if you have Blizzard, you have a threat to Venusaur, you have a threat to Shift Tree, which you could do Hydro Cannon as well, and you also have a threat to Altaria with Blizzard. So it's a really big give or take, but Flash Cannon will also do pretty well against Venusaur. If we take a look here, Flash Cannon's going to be doing 93 damage, so even if you farm down a Pokemon and have a ton of stored energy, Flash Cannon will still do a ton to that Venusaur coming in, but you will still lose in the 0, 1, and 2 shield situation in a fresh fight with Flash Cannon or Blizzard versus a Venusaur here. As long as the Venusaur is shielding a potential Blizzard or Flash Cannon, they're going to beat you. Now let's take a look at the fight versus Noctowl. Noctowl has been the premier flyer on most teams, but Empoleon's basically going to make it obsolete, or not, I wouldn't say obsolete, but it's going to be a huge threat that can also threaten some of the prominent tanks that we've been seeing in Alolan Sandslash, Bronzong, and Probopass. Now, Probopass, again, Thunderbolt's going to beat you, but you can beat Noctowl in all shielding situations because of the damage from Hydro Cannon and Waterfall. You're not going to be taking a ton of damage from Sky Attack. That's going to be resisted, but in the 1 shield situation, you're looking pretty good, especially if you build up to a Blizzard. Threaten with that Blizzard and then go for a back-to-back, either getting the shield or just straight up taking him out when he's in that one-shot situation where Hydro Cannon right here would do 66 damage. By the time you build up to Blizzard, he's going to be at 55 health roughly, so that will one-shot if they want it to go down. When it comes to Empoleon, it's got a great moveset, some great coverages, and a lot of weaknesses, so what I would suggest to you guys is understand where its losses come from and what it picks up on the wins, and be sure to have something to counter an Empoleon on your team. I would highly suggest something like Whiscash or Poliwrath. Heracross will be really, really nice, especially for Pokemon like Shift Tree, if you have them in your region. And then Lantern, I think, is going to be a spicy pick. We'll see Rise in that final week, potentially. And then Probopass, definitely going to be shifting with from Rock Throw to Spark, I think, because of the rise of Empoleon and Poliwrath. A Spark Thunderbolt Probopass, I think is definitely going to do a lot better in the back end of January for the Fusion Cup. And if you want to get spicy, you can go for that Flash Cannon, pick up such a unique lead matchup against Altaria potentially, while still having great coverages, and the damage from Flash Cannon will still do okay versus that Venusaur hard counter. But overall, I think Flash Cannon's a unique pickup. Blizzard, I think, is definitely going to be more viable for that one shot if you utilize Empoleon as a hard stop to something like a Bronzong safe switch. Now, if you guys are wondering, you know, this is great, Zyonik, thank you for all the information, but I can't practice with it, so I'm not going to bring it to my tournament. Well, there's another way you guys can practice. If you guys didn't know already, you guys can head over to pvpoke.com in the training section. You can do 3v3 or tournament style. You can do Fusion Cup. You can set the difficulty to champion, which is my recommendation to improve your skills. And you can bring Empoleon. You could bring the Empoleon with Hydro Cannon, Flash Cannon for that unique setup. And then maybe we can just quick fill with random. Let's see. We'll go. We'll change here. We'll go Empoleon. There we go. All right, and we're gonna be facing a random team on PvPoke. You will see the roster, so you can choose, you know, this Shiftry is going to be good because he's got a Bronzong and a Alolan Marowak or something. And then you're like, all right, cool, I'm going to go with Empoleon, and I'm going to go with this team randomly. And you can fight with Empoleon to get good. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I hope you guys found it informative, so be sure to smash that like button. Comment down below and let me know what you guys think about Empoleon and those unique matchups versus Shiftry, versus Altaria, versus Probopass. And if you guys are looking for these images for Empoleon versus the meta, you guys can find them on my Instagram or my Twitter. Links down in the description for that. And like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.